Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kate from Mindfulknots. I have been MIA on YouTube the past couple weeks, but I am trying to get back to my regular uploading schedule, which is on Mondays and sometimes Wednesdays and Fridays. For this tutorial, you will learn how to make a sweater with a fringe detail. Throughout the video, I left suggestions for other sizes, so I hope that helps. And without further ado, let's get into the video. You will be using 3 skeins of the Mandala Tweed yarn by the Lion brand. And each skein has 426 yards. You will be using a 4mm crochet hook and a pair of scissors. To begin, you'll create a slip knot. So you'll fold the yarn onto itself like that and pull the shorter strand. Pull it tight onto the hook. You will chain up 160. So to chain, you will go underneath the yarn over, and pull through the loop. And that's 1 chain. Okay, so I will meet you back after you have chained up your number of chains. Once you have chained up 160, without twisting the chain, you'll go back to the beginning. Make sure not to twist it. And that it's all going the same way. And then you will slip stitch that first chain there. So you'll insert your hook. You'll grab your yarn, you'll pull the strand kind of down out of the way. Then you will yarn over, pull through the chain, and then pull through the loop, and that's a slip stitch. So essentially you just created a giant ring. This ring should be wide enough to go over your shoulders because you will be slipping this sweater on. You will chain up 2, so you'll just yarn over and pull through the loop. And then you will be working into each of the chains. See, the chain is a V, you can see that. I'm just going to be working in one side of the V, but you can work into it however you'd like. So I'm going to begin by double crocheting into each chain. So I will yarn over, go through the next chain there, yarn over and pull through. That creates 3 loops on the hook. I will yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, and then that creates 2 loops on the hook. I will yarn over again and then pull through the last 2, and that's a double crochet. I will insert 1 double crochet into each chain all the way around the ring, and then I will meet you back. Okay, so I double crocheted all around, and now I'm back at the beginning. So what we will do is skip over that chain 2, and then in that first double crochet, you will insert your hook and make a slip stitch. So you will yarn over, pull through the stitch and the loop there. For the second round, you will chain up 2 again. This does not count as a stitch. In that first double crochet, you will insert another double crochet. For this round, you will just insert 1 double crochet into each stitch. Okay. So again, I will do this off camera because it is repetitive, so you'll just insert 1 double crochet all the way around, then I will meet you back. Okay, so I'm back at the beginning, and again I'm just going to skip over those first chain 2s, and then in that first double crochet I will slip stitch. So that's the rows that you are going to repeat, and I will meet you back and let you know how many rows I ended up doing. Okay, so I ended up doing 20 full rows. For this next row, we won't be working in the round anymore, we'll just be creating rows. So you will count up the amount of stitches that you have. all the way around, and then you will divide that number by 2, and then that's how many stitches you will be creating. So you will chain up 2. This does not count as a stitch. And then whatever number that you just came up with, you will just insert 1 double crochet into that amount of stitches. For example, I have 160 stitches all the way around, so I will divide 160 divided by 2, which is 80. So I will create 80 double crochets. Just 1 double crochet into each stitch 80 times, and then I will meet you guys back once you have done so. Okay, so as you can see, it's just 1 row coming up out of the round here, and then we're just going to continue to go up. And just to make sure, count the back stitches over here, make sure that it's the same amount as the front, just to make sure you're even. For the next row, you will chain up 2. That does not count as a stitch, and then you will turn your work. Once you have turned your work, you will insert 1 double crochet into that first stitch. And then you will just insert 1 double crochet into each stitch all along the row here. So I will meet you back once you have done so. Okay, so I just finished up the second row there. So what we will do is just create 1 more. So we will do the same thing. We will chain up 2. This does not count as a stitch. We will turn our work and then work back along the edge here just by inserting 1 double crochet into each stitch to create 3 rows coming up out of the main piece here. Okay, so I have 3 rows. For this next row, we are going to start kind of tapering in. So we will chain up 2. This does not count as a stitch. You will turn your work. You will insert 1 double crochet into that first stitch. You will double crochet in the next 29 stitches, so 30 altogether. Once you have 30 stitches, you will skip the next stitch, and then in that next one you will insert a double crochet. These rows will be decreasing. You will chain up 2 again. This does not count as a stitch. You will turn your work. In that first stitch, you'll insert 1 double crochet. You'll skip the next stitch, and then in the next one, you'll insert 1 double crochet. And then for the rest of the row here, you will just insert 1 double crochet into each stitch. So as you can see, it's starting to go inward. Okay, so I crocheted back along that row there. As you can see, it's starting to go in. So you'll just repeat those 2 rows. So again, you will just chain up 2. This does not count as a stitch. You will turn your work. Insert 1 double crochet into each stitch until the second to the last stitch. So I will meet you back once you reach the second to the last stitch here. Okay, I'm at the second to the last stitch there, so there's 2 stitches left, and then there's that chain 2 that doesn't count as a stitch. So we will skip the second to the last one there, and then in the last one we will insert 1 double crochet. We are only decreasing on one side, and then the other side will stay straight. So you should have one straight edge. and then one curved edge here. So again, you'll just chain up 2, turn your work, and since this is the side that we're decreasing on, we will make sure to decrease. So in that first stitch, we will insert 1 double crochet. Then in the next one we will skip, and then in the next one we will insert 1 double crochet. So again, that makes it go slanted there. And then you'll just insert 1 double crochet into each stitch for the rest of the row. You will continue with these rows until your desired look, and I will meet you back to tell you how many I did. Okay, so this is what it should be looking like. 1 straight edge and then 1 curved edge. I did 12 decreasing rows, so starting from right here, 12 rows, and then starting from the bottom on the straight edge is 15 rows. Just make sure that this portion right here is enough to go around half of your arm, because this will be your sleeve over here. So make sure that your arm can fit through here. If not, then add some more rows here, or you could add more where we did these 3 full rows. You can add a little bit more there to add some more length if you need it. So what you will do is just tie off here. Make sure to leave a long strand because we will be slip stitching this part later on. So just make sure when you cut your yarn that it's a long strand. Then you will just pull through to secure and pull tightly. And then you will do the exact same thing but opposite on this side. So you will attach a new piece of yarn over here. See, this is the 3 rows over here. So you'll attach a new piece of yarn right there. And then you'll do the exact same thing, only reversed. So your curved edge is coming in this way. And then you have a straight edge over here. So you'll just repeat that over here. I'm going to do it off camera since it is repetitive, and then I'll meet you guys back. Okay, so I did the exact same thing over here, and I left a long strand. We'll use those later. So what we will do is flip our work and attach a new piece of yarn at the first available stitch there. Once you have a new piece of yarn attached, you will pull through to get it started. Chain up 2, this does not count as a stitch, and then the back is really simple. You just put 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way across the back here, all the way until this side, and then you'll end in that stitch. It should be the same amount as these rows in the front here. And then since we did 15 rows up, we will do 15 rows of double crochet. So you'll just insert 1 double crochet into each stitch. Super simple. So since we kind of already did this earlier, you just put 1 double crochet into each stitch, chain 2, and then turn, and then just insert 1 double crochet into each stitch again. And then you will just do that for 15 rows, and I will meet you back once the back is done. Okay, so I just did 15 rows in the back, just 15 full rows of double crochet. And once you have done that, you will turn your work inside out. So with these long strands that we left earlier on the portion right here, you will just slip stitch along the shoulder edge. So you'll match up the stitches. You go through the first one there and the first one in the back there. And you will yarn over and pull through. You're just slip stitching all these stitches together to make sure that the slip stitch isn't too thick here, like to make a huge seam. You will take the inside portion of this V, so the stitch right there. See how there's a V? You'll just take the inside portion, and Captain says hello. And then you'll go to the other stitch that matches it on the back here, and then the V, see that V there? You'll take the inside one of that stitch. So you won't take the whole stitch, you'll just take the insides of both of them there. and then you'll just slip stitch along the edge, like so. Okay, so once you have slip stitched all the way across there, you have formed the shoulder part. So with the remaining there, you'll just yarn over and pull through and pull tight. We'll sew those ends later. And you will do the exact same thing to this side. So I'll meet you back after you do that. Okay, so once you have both of the shoulders slip stitched, you will turn it right side out so that the chains are on the inside there, that slip stitch. So yeah, I like to attach my new piece of yarn at the armpit area. So now that your new piece of yarn is attached at the armpit, you will pull through to get it started. Chain up 2, this does not count as a stitch. And then you are going to be working in the sides of the stitches for this round. So you will just insert your hook wherever it will fit. And make sure to evenly space them out. You're just going to insert 1 double crochet. I like to do like 2 per stitch there, if that helps you out, to keep it kind of even. Just have a system of where you put them in at. So just anywhere your hook will fit, you'll insert a double crochet. All the way around. You'll do that all the way around this portion here. I will meet you back and let you know how many double crochets I did, if so you have like a reference point. Okay, so I did 58 double crochets all the way around. So now I'm back at the beginning here. See that chain 2? We will skip over that, and then in that first double crochet, we will slip stitch. So you'll just insert your hook, yarn over, pull through the stitch, pull through the loop on the hook. For the next round on the sleeve, you'll chain up 2. This does not count as a stitch. In that same stitch there, you will insert 1 double crochet. And then again with the body, it's the same stitch, so it's just 1 double crochet into each stitch, all the way around. So you will just chain 2, double crochet 1 into each row, go all the way around, just 1 in each stitch. Then you will slip stitch to end the round, and then chain 2 to begin the next. I will meet you back and let you know how many rows to do for the sleeves. Okay, so for the sleeve, I did 45 rows altogether, just 1 double crochet into each stitch. So now all you will do is just do this to the other arm. Just repeat the process, and then I will meet you back. So I've just crocheted the other sleeve here, so now I have both sleeves done. All that's left to do is sew in your ends, and then we're going to add the fringe detail. Okay, so for the fringe, cut each strand 7.5 inches long. Okay, so I'm going to be clumping together 3 strands, and then I will fold them in half. As even as you can get it. And then we will determine where the middle is on the front, and we will start it at the bottom here. So just kind of eyeball where you would think the middle is. And then what you are going to do is you are going to go around the whole stitch there. See how I isolated that stitch? Then you will pull through the 3 strands, like so. So that's what it looks like right now. And then this loop, you will bring all of these ends here through that loop. So you're just going to pull them all through, like so. And then you will pull tightly. And that's how you will create the fringe. So you'll just kind of go up in a diagonal pattern, just kind of eyeball it. So you're just going to eyeball it, and you are just going to do a diagonal all the way to the armpit here. So we will just go down like that. Okay, so you're just going to follow that up all the way to the armpit. And then you're going to do the same on the other sides. Try to make them as symmetrical as possible. So now that you have finished the detail of fringe on the front portion of your sweater, it should be looking like this. We will now begin to do the sleeve fringe. And then along this edge of the arm, you will add more fringe in the same fashion. So I'm going to, for the sleeve, instead of doing every other row, I'm going to skip 2 rows and do the next one. So I'll add a fringe here, skip those 2, and then add a fringe there. I may even skip 3 rows just so it's not too fringy, but you guys can decide where you place them. And you'll just do it in the same fashion. You'll go around the whole stitch. Okay, so now that you got the fringe done on your arm, I suggest going back and trimming it all to one length. Just so it looks really nice there. And then you'll just do the same to the other arm, and then you are finished with your sweater.